In this video, I want to talk about how semen retention takes the edge off. And by edge, what I mean is that lustful, neediness, thirsty, anxious bullshit that you deal with anytime you get around a woman. Semen retention counteracts that, okay? Now, first, I also want to say I'm not a semen retention guru, okay? There are plenty of those on YouTube, all right? I'm just a dude that has experienced the benefits of not watching adult content, not playing with myself to it, not, fapping all the time, and also consciously releasing when I choose to. When you get around a woman and those nerves kind of pop up, you know what I mean? We all deal with it, especially if she's really attractive. You know how it is. The more attractive she is, the more nervous you're going to be when you're around her, especially if you're watching adult content all the time. Now, let me break this down for you. When you're watching that adult content and you playing with yourself, you're stimulating yourself to like this fantasy, this woman on the screen who is just straight fantasy. And that's starting to warp how you see women. So when you see a woman out in the world, especially one that is attractive, like what you've trained yourself to see on the screen, because when you're fapping and doing your thing and you're watching the content, it's messing up your nervous system too, is what's happening. It's creating this anxious, you're tense, you're like in fight or flight all the time, and you don't realize this is happening. So when you get around women, you've conditioned yourself to operate that way. You've conditioned yourself to be tense, fight or flight, nervous, anxious, as opposed to being relaxed, chill, calm, neutral. I could take it or leave it. This is not the first woman I've been around. It is what it is. If she don't like me, it's all good. Yeah, it might sting a little bit initially, but I can move on. It gives you that type of like narrative and that type of mindset and that type of vibe about yourself. Because like I said, when you're playing with yourself all the time, you're conditioning yourself to become nervous. You're conditioning yourself to become anxious and not know how to operate around a woman. But why is this even important to take the edge off? Like you might be watching this like, why do I even care about that, bro? This is going to allow you just to really be able to kind of take back your power in a way and not be giving it to the screen, because that's what you're doing. You're giving your power away to the screen, and then that's showing up in real world, real time. Okay. But like I said, why this is important, it's simple. Is because you want to be cool, calm, collected when you're around a woman. You don't want to be having to perform when you get around her. And women don't respect that either. She don't like this dude that's trying to like perform and try to impress her. And that's what you're doing when you're fapping all the time, when you're watching the adult content. You're programming yourself to become a performer. Okay. So when you start retaining, you are kind of reprogramming yourself to not be such a performer. You're kind of stepping more back into a natural kind of organic kind of, all right, this is how you're supposed to be around women. All right. Like I said, you still might get a little nervous sometimes, depending if she's super attractive. That's normal. I got one question in my comments one time that asked me, what's the difference between celibacy and semen retention? Right. And I always try to preface this. I'm not a guru. Okay. But like I said, I'm somebody who's living life just like you, experiencing some things that I want to share with you too. You can may or may not apply this to your life. All right. But when he asked me that question, what's the difference between celibacy and semen retention? Now that I look back on it, it's kind of simple to explain. Celibacy is you intentionally not trying to have sex. No sexual acts of any kind. But when you're practicing semen retention, you can still have sex. So I would say that's the difference. Semen retention is more so just being more mindful and more conscious of where you're spreading your seed. Okay. You become more conscious of the power of your seed, and you start to become more selective with who you share that with, because it is very powerful. And when you're practicing semen retention, like for me, myself, how I was sharing, like when I'm with a woman, I choose whether or not I want to release or whether I don't. I don't always get it right because it ain't easy. Okay. That's a practice in of itself. But what I'm saying is semen retention is very powerful, and it takes the edge off of you because you start to be able to pick and choose who you want to share with. Okay. If that's making any sense. And this is going to, once you like realize that, and once you tap into that, and once you realize that you possess this power, that you don't have to like just always be giving of your life force energy, this is going to level you up, man. All right. You're going to start going through life and you're going to start realizing that, well, you'll start experiencing more like attraction coming your way. It's almost like people will start gravitating towards you a bit more. It's kind of weird how it happens, man. It just does. Women will start kind of hitting you up a bit more. But also, you got to be mindful and aware of this type of stuff and also be working on self awareness, emotional intelligence. This is just a piece of the pie. This semen retention, just a piece of the pie, but it's a large piece of the pie. It's a powerful one. It's a tasty, savory piece of the pie. Not to be weird, but when you couple semen retention with like body game and start working out, and then you start working on your self awareness, bro, this makes you become such a well rounded individual. You start to really gain more control over things that have may had control over you, like your lust. You know, once you start working out, you start leading yourself. You start really prioritizing your physical well-being. Now, I'm not going to get too much into working out. This video is not about that. But semen retention too is going to help you improve your physical well-being. It's going to help you improve your decision making. It's going to help you become sharper. You know, it's going to help you become more selective. And all these things is what takes the edge off. You don't want me walking around all like you see a pretty girl and you just kind of lose your shit. Not like you go crazy, but internally you're going kind of like, oh, you get all wound up in a way. That's what retaining kind of takes away. It subsides that, man. It brings you back to baseline. It's bringing your nervous system back to baseline because you're not watching the content and programming your nervous system to get fucked up anytime you see something super attractive. All right. So I hope that this video made sense. I know I can get on my tangents. I can get to rambling. But if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave me some comments below. Let me know what y'all thought about the video. Let's get a conversation going. And make sure you check out one of my other videos. I'll leave something floating around here about semen retention, a playlist or something on it. But make sure you click on that and check it out. And I will see y'all there. Peace.